Hey, it's your girl Sabine, the Purpose Lawyer, back with another teachable moment. So today we're going to be talking about trademarks again, and we're talking about a football team called the Washington Football Team. I'm not making this up. Their name is the Washington Football Team. Why is their name the Washington Football Team? Because they used to be called the Washington Redskins. And what happened with that is that their trademarks were actually canceled because it was offensive. Taboo, right? It was offensive because one, it was called the Redskins. Two, their logo was a logo of an Native American in Native chief headdress, right? So that was, of course, offensive to the Native American people. And so because of that, they took the case to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court decided to rule in their favor, and therefore the trademark office took it down, basically canceled the registration. So they had multiple registrations. But what I find interesting is that they just decided to be called the Washington Football Team. Like, there was nobody to come up with a better creative name. So but what's interesting even further to that is that, so the reason why the trademark office did it is because they did have a portion of the Lanham Act, which says, the Lanham Act is like the body of law that governs the trademarks, right? And so part of that had said that you cannot have, offensive, vulgar, I forget exactly the words that they use, but basically saying you can't have things that are like offensive to people, right? You cannot have that trademarked. And so because of that, this is why we're going to take this down. But in 2019, there was a case where this individual wanted to trademark the word F-U-C-T, you can sound that out yourself, as a clothing brand. So it started back in 1993, was denied, and then came back again, and then took it all the way to the Supreme Court and was like, no, this gotta be the name. I don't know what this guy was thinking about, but he's like, yeah, this gotta be the name. So brought it to the Supreme Court, and they basically said that it's a violation of free speech to basically tell people that you cannot trademark something just because it's lewd or it's vulgar or it's just not popular, right? Like, it's frowned upon. And so they decided that it was a violation of free speech, that you cannot do that. And what they said is that you're basically taking sides because you're deciding what's proper or what's not proper. You're deciding what's mainstream and what's not mainstream, basically. So if it offends a substantial part of the public, then they decided that even in that case, that it shouldn't be denied because you're deciding for people what is good and what's bad. And so because of that, they decided to overturn that and say, no, we cannot stop people from trademarking things that are offensive. And so therefore, this person got their trademark registered. So really, the Washington Football Team could have tried to get their former trademarks either reinstated, or they could have re-registered them. But I think they did the right thing, because who wants to have a trademark that's just offending people, and they're part of the National Football Association or League, I should say. And I'm pretty sure wouldn't go over well if they were like, yeah, so now we're just gonna put the name back. We don't care how you feel. So good thing they didn't, but I'm still trying to figure out why they couldn't come up with something better than the Washington Football Team. I guess we'll find out. But the bigger issue, right, back out of the rabbit hole, the bigger issue is that somebody already has the Washington Football Club registered. So because they have the Washington Football Club registered, the Washington Football Team, their mark was denied, or their application was denied. Not necessarily denied, but it was basically, they got what's called the office action. So an office action is basically the trademark examiner, the person who's looking at it. They're looking at it and they're saying, hey, we reviewed this application. We think that your mark is confusingly similar to this person who already had their registration, so we're not gonna let your registration go through, but you have 6 months to let us know why we should, let you do it. And so the person who has it registered, who has the Washington Football Club, has tons of registrations surrounding, Washington and football and all that kind of stuff. And so it said that they kind of offered some trademarks up to the Washington Football Team. So we'll see how that goes. But the moral of the story is definitely make sure that you are trademarking your brand early enough. Like, if they changed their name, I forgot what year it was, but it's at least 5 or 6 years ago that they changed their name. Why hadn't they trademarked it since then? They're a national football team. So makes no sense. make sure that you're putting in your applications. Don't wait because, like I said, space is scarce. There's so many more trademarks that are coming out or that are being registered nowadays. Everyone is aware of their rights. Everyone is aware that they need to be protected, and they're doing the right thing and putting in their application. So if you are sitting on it, I guarantee you somebody else is going to come up with that name, and they're going to be doing it, you know, either something similar or close to what you're doing, and you're not going to be able to get it registered. So please keep that in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is do your research. Like, they should have known that someone else was either using this or had come to the market and tried to register this so that they could have put in an objection to it to be able to stop it, or at least, like I said, come up with something better. And also know that you just can't sit on your trademark rights when you actually do have them, because so the other person, Washington Football Club, if they're not actually using their trademark, if they don't have proof that they're using it how it was registered, that can be challenged. So you want to make sure that you're always keeping on top of your mark. Like, it is an asset, it is a property right. You want to make sure that you are exercising and protecting it in the best way that you can. So that's all I got for you today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this video, follow this channel. That's how you pay me back for all this useful information. I would greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.